Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the northeast section of the map, ending with Team 2 in the southwest. Starting off with the southernmost player on Team 1 and the color, the scoreboard color that the mod has chosen. It is Freddy Fresh. Going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1000 rated player, and he is in orange, the color orange. To his north, the other orange player on Team 1, known as Rust. It is Shadow Rear. He is in the rear, so it does fit his name. Going first land as a Seraphim, and he is a 1400. To his west, in Crimson Red, we have Slato Noob going first. Chevy Crimson, excuse me. He's Slato Noob. He is a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game, and he is going Cybran. And in the rear here for Team 1 in Regal Purple, we have Ninthuk, I think that's how you say that, going first land as a Cybran as well, and he is a 1200. He's going to go second air as well. And last but not least, for Team 1 here on the western side, we have the UEF player of Prugler PDM going first and second land in Tropical Ocean Blue, and he is a 1200. So for Team 1 side of things, they have one of each of the factions plus an additional Cybran. So that means one Seraphim, one UEF, one Aeon, and two Cybran. Down here in the south, starting off here with the easternmost player, we have the UEF player of System Shock going first land in Stitch Blue, and he is a 1200, going second land as well. In the rear here for Team 2, we have the Pac-Man yellow player of RGBVCMG. Always a mouthful to say his name every single time. Going first and second, first line, second air as a Aeon, and he is a 1300. In glow in the dark green here for Team 2, we have L to the N, who is actually playing Aeon. He's going first land and second air as well. He is an 1800, the highest rated player on Team 2, and again, he is an Aeon. And in the rest, already on the move, we have the ruby red player of Corn. Corn is a 1400. He's going first land in the distance. At his back is his main base, and he is again a UEF. And last but not least here, also moving to the north, is the lattice red player of Squealer. Squealer is a 1100. He is UEF. He's going first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Land all day for this guy. And again, he is in lattice red pink. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mass currently in terms of reclaim. We have 47,000 reclaim on this map. That is a ton of mass. We're talking about 4.7k mass per player. That is a ton of mass, and obviously that number will go up as stuff gets destroyed. We also, of course, have some civilian structures, no defensive PD or AA emplacements, just the structures. And in terms of mass point layout, it's a little bit hard to tell because it is a snow map. So in terms of large groupings of mass points, we have a Giant Mechs over here. I mean, all of this is actually kind of very tightly packed in this northwestern corner, same with the southeast. And then the middle two lanes here, I mean, we have a Trimax here, a Trimax here. Not really a whole lot in the middle, but there'll be a lot of fighting here on the corners of the map, opposite each other, and the other side of the map here, determined by the placement of the players. Let's go ahead and take a look at the early movements here for both of the teams as comms. We do have the comm of Shadow Rear coming out from the rear and pushing forward on the southern side, coming to assist Freddy Fresh on that eastern side. We have System Shock moving eastward, and RGB moving its northeastwardly, so trying to secure at least kind of a defensive position, kind of like this, to at least have some sort of influence in that southeastern corner. We do see movement here for the players of Squealer and Corn to the north. We aren't seeing as much of a push to more directly north. It's more of a north by northeast kind of thing. It wouldn't be super hard to navigate to the west, but we are seeing Prugler PDM specifically going straight across to the west, and he'll go straight back down. That does look like we have Buck moving westward. He's going to grab some mass from these little rocks here. Actually, the ice wedges, whatever those things are called. I mean, he's going to go on a patrol order. He probably should just do a attack move and just have that be a little bit better. But anyway, what else do we have going on? Looks like Shadow is actually stopped for a little bit. Maybe he's distracted doing something else. In the middle of the map, looks like it's mostly controlled by Team 2 so far. We have a radar very far forward. Very good to have that. Not a super large radius, but it's enough to see a little bit onto that eastern side. So it's not terribly outplaced. I probably would have placed it maybe more. I mean, this kind of mountain range is kind of weird, but probably more like right here. Make it very difficult to hit, especially if you hide behind the natural environment of these mountains. And it does look like you can traverse the maybe you can traverse the middle of those mountains. You can, I think, definitely traverse it right here. There is a way back and forth for the players in the middle of the map, but I don't think there'll be a lot of fighting because it is so confined and it's hard for pathfinding and all that nonsense. So maybe some pot shots, but not really a lot of the frontline action that we're used to here in FAF. Gun damage and range going down here for Squealer against Corn. Corn's just happy to reclaim those structures. He needs to get some sort of, gun on his comm, or at least T2 or something, because that comm of Squealer will come in and push him back if he doesn't do so. Yeah, if he doesn't do anything to fight against it. We do have the comm of PDM kind of just, again, going after the reclaim. Going after, the 47,000 reclaim on the map. I don't blame anybody for not going for that because it's a lot of mass in this game. And everyone knows the more mass you have, the more things you can play with. The more things you can play with, the better situation you can be and more likely you're going to win. But not always the case, but it is a good metric to track in terms of who is going to win. Team 1 is winning the match. Well, it keeps going back between Team 1 and Team 2. Let's say essentially both teams at least about 250. The number keeps going up and down, of course, because of reclaim related stuff. So it does look like Team 1 is in the lead though for now, but that can obviously change as time goes on. Team 2 isn't really pushing more northward on either side, kind of just giving some outposts essentially, but not really establishing a front line. But in the west, they are pushing against Corn. Corn, of course, is kind of running around dealing with these intruders. To his base. Oh, not Corn. Sorry. Corn is on Team 2. My apologies. I've been talking about it as if Corn was on Team 1. Corn is on Team 2, and he is falling back. He grabbed the reclaim over here to deny it for Team 1. Anyway. There's a lot of red and a lot of nonsense. Apologies for that. We have that gun upgrade still going, which is kind of surprising because you would think it'd be done by now. Usually the upgrades go pretty quick, but maybe he's stalling it a little bit. I don't think he has a lot of assist. He has none assistance. He does have mass in his bar, so he should be progressing very quickly, and we'll go immediately to T2 after that gun. So again, securing that western approach. We do see an attack coming out here from PDM in the west. He's going to just cut around these couple of units. There's 3 mexes he can easily claim by himself. Does look like he's just going to upgrade for something. Don't know what's going on. Looks like it is maybe gun. I mean, it is his right gun, or right arm, so probably gun. He is UEF, so most likely he's FM. We can see the units coming in and around here for Slato Noob, but unfortunately they're going to get shot as they go around and won't do a lot of damage on that western side. We just see a lot of posturing here between these two comms. We haven't seen really any good comm-on-comm action so far. More just comms attacking structures or units, but not really a kind of... Whoa, that was an interesting... that was an interesting overcharge. It did some, like, corkscrew maneuver because the PD died by the time that overcharge came in. But a large force is pushing south where it does look like System Shock is a little bit too far forward if he doesn't notice it soon. And he's going for an upgrade, so that will route him to the spot for a couple of minutes. What will probably happen is Freddy will push these forces south to engage this base. The forces here will fall back, and then these forces will come in and essentially pincer maneuver like a 1-2 punch on that eastern side, maybe. Or he'll just completely avoid what I just said and go westward. Never mind. Forget what I said. It could still happen a little bit, but the longer this goes on, the longer Team 2 has to catch this, the more time they have to prepare. We do see T2 air and T2 land on the cards for System Shock. And for Team 2's air player, they do have T3 air. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing. It's about ready to finish for Team 1, and we do have one for Team 1 as well. So we're going to have 2 T3 air players, and it does look like that is on the cards here as well for coin. So lots of air investment in this game very early on, sub 10 minutes. That is very big to have T3 air that early. You can exert more pressure onto the battlefield. But you don't really need two T2 radars. It's good to have a backup, but you don't need them right next to each other. They're Slato Nib. He's a 2000. He obviously knows what he's doing, but you could have positioned one over here. But he has claimed this southern side as well and has a PD to defend that position as well. So he's just building it for redundancy. I don't blame him in that regard. But at least not that close, because if one dies, most likely the other one will die. What you don't want as a backup. But in the west, it does look like PDM is securing that northwestern corner for himself and for his team, because of course the more mass income you have eventually bleeds over into your teammates. It's kind of not, it's not going to happen, but if you don't spend your mass, then whatever you generate, kind of like the energy does kind of shift over to your other teammates. So, you know, more territory for you means more territory for your team at the end of the day. And if he dies, all that goes to somebody else. So pretty much what's mine is yours kind of thing. But we do see T2 units lining the approach here for the units. And I think Freddy Fresh had the opportunity and just waited a couple seconds too late. Aurora are attacking Mongoose. Mongoose obviously known for their range, but weak hit points on their bots. And then Pillars, 1,500 hit points on those things. You're going to be able to chew through these T1 tanks pretty quickly. The comm of System Shock did establish that T2 outpost here with a couple of PD and will retreat in the face of these units. There are no T2 that I can see here from Freddy Fresh, so it's just going to be T1, which with the high superiority of the T2 tanks and Mongoose and firepower and whatnot, it will definitely be able to stave off this threat here in the south. It does look like there's, again, more posturing going on back and forth between the eastern players here. Specifically for Team 1. Team 2 kind of just waiting for the attack. They don't want to, you know, go in, because why would you if they're going to come to you anyway? And there's benefits to doing both, of course. Benefits is the masses on your side of the field. Disadvantages is the masses on their side of the field, and you want the mass, of course. EV Strat says Shadow Rare. That would be a great grab, taking out a couple T2 P-Gens and a T3 if they could manage it. It does look like there is ASFs being built here by RGB. I do not see that strat. If it is being built, I don't see it unless it's being built right now. And it's, no, that's a spy plane and ASF. Those are Noth. No, are those ASF or Nothas? It'll pop up for a second. They look like Nothas, but I could be wrong. No, those are ASF. Okay. They kind of look like Nothas. In the south, it does look like it's another sort of pinching maneuver, but unfortunately, it's not going to work that well. Freddy Fresh is just going to assault with his comm. We have the comm of System Shock, you know, trying to hold this base with T2 Triads. Overcharges, takes out 2 pillars. It is not the advanced range on that Freddy Fresh comm. It is just the regular Aeon comm with the regular range. So it's not sniper just yet, but he is dodging very nicely, avoiding those grenades as well as taking out those pillars with multiple, you know, AoE attacks with the overcharge. His units are coming in to assist as well, and these units are attacking in the south, taking out some vital infrastructure down here, trying to hem System Shock in. Of course, there are a couple of triads built, and T1 PD now going to be spammed up. A couple of interceptors brought forth with some gunships. They're going to be definitely very vital here. We do see reinforcements coming in from his teammate of RGB and from L to the Aeon, but we do see reinforcements here for Team 1 as well. They're all holding position for now. They aren't charging yet. System Shock is taking shots back, you know, once in a while, and those stingers are focusing the comm of Freddy Fresh. He will have to retreat in the face of T2 Triads and all of that incoming fire. Of course, we see more Aurora to the west, and he is dropping into the yellow, very deep into the yellow, and now into the red. I don't know if this is going to allow for any escapes here. We have ASFs to protect the gunships with ASFs here for Team 1 as well to take those out. Freddy Fresh is dropping below 700, 600. Oh, and those gunships got killed off very nicely. Will he make it out of range, though? Are there any? There's another Spectre gunship inbound. He is on 800 hit points. He's got to get out of dodge sooner rather than later. That was very close. A very nice assisting move here from the air player of NY. We do see another attack in the west coming out here from Slato Noob. Very, very smart, using kind of a split attack mode, not focusing all of his units on one side of the field. He kind of is in the middle, to be fair. And so he completely avoided this base that was being built by Squealer. Is going straight into the rear, and he's going to run into the comm here pretty soon, but there are a couple of Harbingers that have been built here by Team 2, so that'll definitely diffuse a lot of that attack power. But Shield very far forward here. Of course, we have System Shock right here. He's producing a Triad, and I think that Triad should be in range. Yeah, that Triad is in range, so there are pillars moving in to assist. That shield, it was not a good idea there, Freddy Fresh. You should have just kept falling back. There are units coming in to cover the comm, but he's going to have to cancel that. It's not going to finish, unfortunately. Oh, it's not good here for him. Oh, I don't know what he's thinking. I know he wants to protect his comm. I get that, but you got to send it back. You got to... And you want to keep the the attack that you've been given, all the ground you've been, and there's the order to cancel the shield. Unfortunately, it does look like there are pillars nearby as well, so it's not a great engagement here. If he can overcharge a couple of them, he should be fine, but very, very risky to do that sort of repair job on the front lines. It does look like Team 1's air player of NY is being very aggressive with his air, essentially locking out Team 2 with most of their air, to be fair. A couple of gunships have been built, these Stingers, to defuse these Rhino attack. And they're still being chased by some Harbingers and a comm. It's not looking great here for Team 1 on the eastern side. They had a nice attack, but Team 2 has grouped up with multiple armies and multiple comms, forcing back the comm of Freddy Fresh. He probably needed that advanced range, to be fair. And I think had he had that, he would have fared a lot better, because he would have been further back and out of range of a lot of stuff. So... I love the attack. It just there needed to be more elements added to it, like maybe the shield versus the advanced range, or the advanced range and the shield, or just more units in general. A lot of stuff could have been better. And now, as we see the retreat of the army and the comm, Team 1 is losing territory by a couple of mass points, but a couple of mass points can make or break the game as time goes on. Here we are approaching the 17-minute mark in this game. No one has died as of yet. Almost. One player almost died, sub 700 hit points, but he did make it out. Was very risky to put that shield on the front line, but he did cancel it and is now retreating. There's an army chasing him, or chasing, forcing him back, just maybe not necessarily chasing him directly. But a large amount of ASFs here for Team 1, essentially trying to lock Team 2 out of their air. We see another attack coming out here from PDM, being assisted by the air forces of Team 1 to take out all those gunships, and now it's just ASFs fighting ASFs. Team 2's ASFs not really working together in this sense, and all those ASFs are being chewed up pretty quickly here for Team 2. So Team 1 still retains air control for now, but of course the resupply, it's very quickly versus the long flight over the middle of the map. We do see Team 1's PDM has posted up here to the west, trying to, again, slowly crawl his way, which is... There's somebody who said with sort of a blitzkrieg attack versus a very slow methodical attack. Both work in their own rights. It just depends on the situation, depends on how your enemy responds, that sort of thing. But the units coming out here from Slater Noob are almost forcing back Squealer. He is spamming up not PD, but TMD as fast as he can. But it does look like the units coming out here from Slato are just going to take out, again, more outlying units, more outlying mexes, and slowly whittle down Team 2's front line very quickly. And we kind of see the same thing happening here to the east, but there's a large force pushing that eastern side. Team 1 needs some sort of big ticket item to help secure it, either a bunch of T3 units or an experimental, and I don't see one being built as we speak. No, that's a PGen. I don't see much of any sort of thing. It is a little early, I guess, for a monkey or that sort of thing, especially a Colossus. That would be kind of early for an Aeon player. It's more like 24 minutes or so is when we usually see them. But no one has died yet, and that shield is now being built right here. It's definitely a better place for it. We've been just getting a T1 Mechs to help assist with some resource gathering operations, and now we have some assistance coming out to help speed up that progress for that shield at 10%. The army is slowly closing in. It's going to be kind of... Oh, and he cancels it once again, bearing the army that's coming in here from Team 2. We also have a side army here from System Shock pushing this eastern side. We need Team 1 needs some gunships. They need some bombers. They need something to start whittling these forces down. They have air control for now, so might as well use it while you have it. And Team 2, in terms of eco, let's see how they're doing. They are ecoing a little bit better than Team 1. They're more focused on upgrades because they keep losing and gaining territory, so it's kind of hard to keep a consistent mass income if you're constantly building and destroying and building and destroying mexes. That attack is still going and going to avoid the comm to the west. Freddy Fresh pretty much thinking as long as the attack just goes on the eastern side, I'll be fine. But we have Shadow Rear pulling up the rear here, going to come and assist. He has no gun upgrade, no veterancy, no nothing, just his bare bones comm. And he's probably thinking, oh, that was probably not the best idea. But he's going to engage anyways. The comm of Freddy Fresh is going to come assist as well. Shadow Rear is very bold to do this attack. There are some, T3 units in this mix, or T2 units as well. There's a lot of Aurora though, so I mean there is some potentiality for some veterancy. He does get one veterancy right there, 1,700 mass killed. Going to go for another one of those Harbingers. Get a second vet pretty soon. Actually does get a second vet, so he is upgrading that comm very quickly. But the attack is starting, well, that was starting to focus him, and then it kind of died down with all the Harbingers being killed. The western side, just missiles, 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 and more missiles to the west. They are not stop launching. We have Squealer trying to build defenses, trying to build infrastructure or something. Shield pops back online just before it was taken out. But of course, those TMD of the Buzzkill, not the best thing to take out a barrage of missiles. You need those volcanoes there, Squealer. Get some assistance from somebody. We see a couple of Janus coming over the top here for Team 2's System Shock. What will they go after is my question. Large force of T3 units moving into assist here for Slater Noob. Slater is essentially playing the assist role in the east and west. More of a main force attacking than the west, but definitely an assist role in the east. We have gunships brought forth as well. We have PD being spammed up to help defend. And the attack has petered out for the most part, but a couple T2 mexes are still going to die off as well, since there are a couple more Harbingers still on the cards. Love the Volthu gunship design. Love the Volthus in general. I think they're a very, very good unit. It's just, I don't know what it is, but I just love the design for some reason. It reminds... what does it remind me of? Oh... reminds me of like a... not from Star Wars. It's from a different... not Star Trek either. I don't remember what the show is from, or the movie, but there's like... I don't know if it's a police like kind of vehicle, or if it's just a military vehicle in general, but they look very familiar to something. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, in terms of the game so far, let me know down in the comments how you think it's going to turn out. Again, 22 minutes on the cards. Team 1 is at 1,000 mass per second. Team 2 slightly behind. Everyone is alive, so 10 players left on the cards. Map control kind of setting in around 50-50, sort of kind of fluctuates. But let me know down in the comments how you feel about this game. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and again, thank you so much for all of this support in helping me reach, I think it's like almost 840 as of right now. I think it's 839 exactly as of the recording. Approaching that 1,000 milestone mark very quickly, and I'm greatly appreciative of all of your support, whether you've watched for a minute, an hour, 10 hours, or you've been watching since the start of the channel. Thank you so very much. Or just 100 hours, or whatever the case may be. I know I put in a lot of hours with other YouTubers, so I know how it is. We have an attack coming in here from the northwest. A lot of loyalists. Those loyalists are going to strive to prove their loyalty to their Cybran overlords, their Cybran masters, their Cybran brethren, and launch an attack against this UEF base. And honestly, for the most part, they're just ignoring the base. A couple of Titans here from PDM are coming to assist and taking out a bunch of pillars, which, it's not a bad matchup. I would prefer Percy's to Titans for that matchup. But the Calm of Corm is trying to do his best to stave off this incoming threat of Loyalist. Loyalist just gonna punch through. I do like how when you zoom out a little bit, they kind of like wave at you. If you haven't noticed that, it feels like they wave. When you zoom in, they don't do that for some reason, but when you zoom out, they're like waving. They're like, hi. I don't know if that's a glitch or something. I just find that entertaining. Of course, the Loyalists have that missile direction capability, but a lot of those Loyalists do get taken out by those defending units. There are still some coming in, but the attack doesn't do as much as it probably should. The Calm of Corn has taken a serious number of hits, though, and those look like the Loyalists fall back to deal with it. Titans are also brought forth. Is it going to be enough? There it goes. The Calm of Corn is down at 24 minutes in this game to Loyalists and Titans. And Slater Nuke gets the credit for that kill here in 24.5 minutes. Cover, please, says RGB. Cover. Oh, shield probably. And it looks like a full share game. There's a Colossal unit here, the Galactic Colossus online. And like most things, was barely too slow and barely too, about 30 seconds sooner, and that thing probably would have saved that comm. But unfortunately, that's just not how this game went. We have, again, broadswords here as well here for Team 2. It does look like there's going to be attack here on this western side. Not pretty bare bones, but on this western side, there's really just T2 missiles. There's Flapjacks. There's a couple of Percys as well. This would be a nice attack as well to go after, but I think Team 2 is going to focus all of their effort. We have bombers coming in to soften up the resistance. We have a Colossal. I keep saying Colossal. A Colossus. And, of course, we have some support here from Squealer. Not a lot, but something. Better than nothing. We have ASFs coming in to protect those units, but I mean, they've taken some damage so far. There are bricks in this mix, though, and there's one brick that just charged forward and will die. Kind of acted as a scout. Squealer has built his own experimental. It's probably a fat boy, knowing he is... Oh, it was transferred over. Never mind. But he's going to take control of that Colossus in the west. I wish it didn't tell me that he built one, because he didn't. He just got gifted one. That throws off my math of how many experimentals are on the field. If you tell me, if the game tells me someone built an experimental, but it was really just handed off. Are there any sort of juicy plays? There is a strategic missile launcher being built by NY, so that would be very interesting to see if Team 2 has noticed that, which they haven't. But that, there is an opportunity to find it. There's a couple of air scouts just back here for Team 2. Team 2, do they have any plans to have some nuclear hellfire somewhere? No, not as right now. Very interesting build order, kind of like a... I don't know. Kind of looks like a... I don't know what that looks like. Looks like a camel or something. Looking at it from the side, this is the head, these are the legs, and this is the hump. I don't see much. There is an SMD, and it is loaded, so that nuke will have to be pretty well... not micro, but pretty well placed to avoid that SMD. I think that is the only one on the Team 2 side of things. Still pinging here, going down for this RGB T3 Omni station. Maybe talking about building some shields or something to protect it. No idea. There is one for Team 1, and it is very well placed right in the middle of the map, and it can see everything because I can't see it. Wait, no, I didn't select it, did I? No? Oh, it's not Freddy Fresh. It's Shadow Rear. Yep, I knew that would throw me off. It can see almost the entire map, just a small sliver in the corners, and that is it. But nice Omni in the middle as well. Definitely will dissuade any sort of stealth maneuvering. But nice spy plane going out here for Team 2. It's kind of lulled down a little bit. The Colossus... Where'd that Colossus go? Oh, it's pushing the western side. Team 1's PDM's forces have retreated to a fire base back here, but unfortunately there's really not a lot to defend. They're spamming up some T2 triads, but I don't know about that. Maybe they want to draw Team 2 in and try to force them to keep going northward, because the further north they go, the farther away they are from the front line. And the farther away from the front line, the harder it is to reclaim. There are some engineers behind the main units, so it won't take that long to reclaim, but we do have those PD starting to open fire, and of course the inverted laser coloring. It makes it nice and easy to see. Both these are trying to do some sort of attack, but they don't want to commit because there are ASFs coming in to protect. It does look like the ASFs are for Team 1 and Team 2 mining it. Nope, nope. Maybe they won't engage. We have some interceptors kind of flying some cover for those Voltu gunships. Voltus are going to come in. That Colossus has taken a decent amount of damage. And here come those Voltus. The ASS for Team 2. Will they engage? Will they not engage? And the attacks do ping against the Voltus, but Team 1 moves in their ASFs to protect and interceptors as well. We have more ASFs coming in from Team 2. The attack will commence against those Voltus, and all of them will be swept up in that engagement. Team 1 in this NY was not ready for it, and unfortunately those ASFs here for Shadow Rear will be taken out pretty handedly. This position has fallen for Team 1. That Colossus has taken a significant amount of damage, below 50% of its original hit points. A bunch of bouncers and loyalists and bricks here, but Team 2 I think has air control. Not dominance, of course, because there's a lot of ASFs still for Team 1, but Team 2's other player, System Shock, we have 3 ASFs or groups of ASFs here for Team 2. That is a lot of ASFs to play with. It would be a lot easier to have one of these players hand off their ASFs to somebody else. Essentially have the main Air Force and the secondary Air Force. Not have 3 people trying to micro air at the same time. Kind of makes it hard to coordinate attacks. But it does look like we have some T2 Corsairs coming online trying to deal with that Colossus with ASF coverage as well. We had a couple of gunships just be destroyed because they weren't being microed or need to get out of there. So they were killed off pretty quickly. ASFs do come in, but don't really do anything at that point because the ASFs for Team 1 are gone. But the units incoming here for Slater Noob will come in and retake this position and just try to shore it up for any sort of future attacks. Does look like the Colossus is going to sit back and rip back up to full HP. Will take him a while, but, you know, it can be done. But a lot of Titans here on this eastern side here. Force System Shock is really pushing northward. I mean, he's taken the entire corner just like PDM has. He's going to press that advantage the best he can. I would love to see these be more Perseus than Titans. There are a couple of Perseus, but against an army of Loyalists, I guess that's not the worst thing on the planet. Man, I just had a violent sneeze. Apparently, my wife tells me that my sneezes are very, very loud, and they are loud. And I don't hold them back. I don't hold back my sneezes. I just let them go full send it. Always the fun to just have your sneeze heard like all the way across the room in like a gym or something. They're like, dang, that was a loud sneeze kind of thing. But the nuke is almost loaded here for NY. 31 minutes in this game. Where could they launch it? Looks like they're going to launch it immediately to this position. Going to take out a fat boy producing facility as well as the main base here for Squealer. Kind of open up this western side, allowing for more attacks to come in and just weaken this side in general. Team 2 has shored up a lot of their defenses, well, considerably due to the fact that they pushed very heavily on this eastern side. We see a lot of units here for Team 2's L to the Aeon, and they haven't moved in yet, and same for Blado Noob. They're kind of just positioning, kind of hanging out. More Perseus and Loyalists. That is a lot of Loyalists. And even 100. Actually, wow, that's not all of them. How many of them are on the field? 219 Loyalists. Sir, I understand you want to spam out a bunch of units, but the Titans. Bricks are better. Please spam out more bricks. 219 Loyalists. That's a lot of Loyalists. And this nuke will land. The comm is on the front line over here, so the comm will not be killed off, but the base will be. We have engineers moving in to build an SMD, but that's a little too late on that that front. Nuke says L to the on. Yep, there are nukes. And kaboom. Doesn't take out the engineers, but takes out the entire base. All the core mass is gone. That is really going to hurt Team 2 Squealer's Eco. Only at 104 mass income. Has some reclaim going on, but not really a lot going on there at 32 minutes. He was suffer not enough. Did you really gain? What did you really gain from that? Well, to be fair, there is an SMD coverage here. That's another Galactic Colossus, and this base is pretty much. You could have maybe tried to eke something out here. Let's see who owns that one. It's RGB. I mean, maybe you could have done something against the air grid. It would have not diminished all of it, but probably would have got some of it. But the attack has now commenced here for Team 1 Slater Noob with all of those Loyalists. Those Loyalists are coming into a line. This is so many loyalists on the field. Just why are there so many loyalists? And there's some bricks in there as well. Just the okay, everybody line up. Okay, single fire now. They probably should move in formation and not just have a giant column. But this is just, look at this. This is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen this many loyalists at one time in a game. They are just churning through that front line. Now imagine if these were bricks. That would be scary, but there is a GC, GC. Oh, there's a GC on the eastern side, a GC on the western side, it looks like, coming into just poke through that front line. We have a lot of ASS being churned out. They're going after those gunships. There should be some flak in there, I think. At least there should be, at least. I don't see anything. That's very disappointing. This attack has no sort of AA defenses. It's just loyalists and bricks. And the attack in from Slater Noob as well as coming into the east, trying to cut off System Shock's main forces and base. But there's a lot of forces inbound here for L to the Aeon. It does look like L to the Aeon is trying to again hem off this attack, but Slater Noob might come and just have a second line of units come in and deal with this western side. There's really no defenses over here. So the main force is being brought forward as the secondary force is being brought in to try to cut a path through to the west. And those loyalists are spreading out. They are being taken out, though, very quickly by gunships and the like, but they are going into the eco, taking out T3 mexes, T2 mexes. That front line has fallen apart here. Does give PDM some time to build up his attack force to be able to make an attack southward, but those units have come in and are taking out a lot of key structures here. We have, of course, mexes here. This base down south most likely will be avoided because of all the T1 and T2 PD in that base from earlier. There are some Ravagers here to the east as well. A couple of units inbound here for Freddy Fresh, but the attack for L to the Aeon goes, you know, I don't care. I'm just going to go full send it, and they are going to full send that attack. Lots of Harbingers, lots of Asylums. We have a couple of Ascendants in here as well. Don't see any Redeemers, which is very interesting. At least not off the current glance. Things are going down for an attack. Does look like we have the combo. Freddy Fresh has the advanced range and shield on board. The first shield, at least, building some PD to defend himself and that front line in the east. The Fat Boy is pushing southward for Team 1's PDM, so slowly but surely all that infrastructure and defenses are going to fall. That attack outbound is still going for Team 1's Slato Noob, and is really getting into the rear here. A lot of them have been killed off, though. A lot of mexes have been killed as well. What has that done to Team 1's eco? Well, sorry, Team 2. Well, Team 1's at 2.1. Team 2 is at 1.4. That's a lot of mass to be down here at 35 minutes in this game. This attack may not have killed anybody. It may not have, taken out a huge amount of, core infrastructure. But the mexes that were killed off, the distraction that it's caused, all of that is huge for Team 1. And there is a Colossus leading that charge with a bunch of Harbingers avoiding this base into the east, going straight in for Slato Noob's front line. Slato Noob has a lot of things pumping out. ASFs here for Team 2's RGB are trying to churn through whatever is coming in for Team 1, those Corsairs, and whatever else, ASFs, whatever the case may be. Team 2 still looks like they have air. They definitely have air dominance for sure. Just given that huge ball of ASFs. Let's see, how many does he have? 310. That is a lot of ASFs, especially with all these gunships as well. A lot of attack power, but a lot of mass income has been killed off. Team 2 at 1.7, Team 1 at 1.7. That may have been reclaim related, maybe? I don't see a lot of losses anywhere. I do see cloaking coming online here for Slater Noob. He has laser. Very interesting. Maybe he'll go to the front lines and deal with that Colossus. Colossus has barely been touched, but Freddy Fresh has been caught, and that will be the death of Freddy Fresh, the first kill for Team 2 in this game. It is now a 4v4 in favor of Team... Actually, not favor anybody. It's just tied game once again. Give me PGs, says Slater Noob. He needs some power for his cloaking, it looks like. He wants to finish it sooner rather than later. Team 1 bombers are being spammed up by Team 1 to try to hold off this incoming pressure. Lots of ASFs, lots of gunships here. And it does look like those bricks are coming in for this base, but there's a lot of PD that's been built here. T1, T2, and T3. A lot of variety here. So maybe a couple of pillars will take a couple of bricks will take out a couple things. but nothing substantial here. And they are going straight for that base. The cloaking has been finished off for Slater Noob, and he's just going to full send it. He does not care. Does that thing have Omni? It does not have Omni. Does anything have Omni? AA hover. I want to watch this. We have a laser versus a laser. Another nuke is being launched here. I don't know if it's from Team 1. It looks like it is from Team 1. That laser is being activated. It's going to go straight for that Colossus, and it's ground firing, trying to do what they can against the laser comm of Slater Noob. How's his hit points doing? He's suffering, but he's not dying just as of yet. Of course, it has to be directly, a direct weapons fire kind of thing. Reclaim orders by the hives to stave off that incoming threat from those harbingers. Loyalists being pumped out. Still, Slater Noob has not been fully targetable in terms of Team 2. They can't see him. They can see the laser, and they're trying to ground fire him, AoE, kill him that way. The comm is still alive, though. Slater Noob is not dead yet. Does kill the Colossus, but he dies anyways to those harbingers. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Oh, but he did stave off that incoming threat from that Colossus. That has gotta hurt. More gunships are inbound here for Team 2. This is a huge attack. A couple of harbingers are in the west as well. Where did that nuke end up going? I don't know. It looks like it landed in the east, took out that fire base. Well, didn't really do a whole lot, to be fair. It wasn't really a huge threat. It was building a FAF boy, but there's a lot of gunships here to the east as well, taking out anything and everything they can. There's not a lot of AA in the area as well. That attack is still going on here for Team 2. Gunships need to be called forth to deal with the rest of these harbingers. They want to keep that nuke online. Does look like nano repair online in the rear here for Shadow. Sorry, yeah, for Shadow rear. I want to say Slater Noob or Shadow Runner. Is it Shadow Runner? Something like that. Anyway, Prugler built another experimental, probably another Fat Boy somewhere. Maybe his main base. Oh yeah, his main base. He is getting a Duke online as we speak. Not going for the lasers like we saw yesterday. Oh, those so many satellites in that game. So many satellites. We have another experimental by NY as well, but this front line is collapsing. 39 minutes in this game. Team 1 was leading for a while. Team 2 has fought back quite heavily, at least on this eastern side. Western side, it's still holding for now, but when those Fat Boys start to come in range, it's not going to feel good. But Team 2 is focusing a lot of their effort. Where did those... Oh, the ASFs were... I'm like, where did all those ASFs go for Team 2? They're just sitting on the ground over there. This Sock doesn't really have a whole lot at his disposal, but he does have some supporting ASFs and forces, but they're not anywhere near the front line in terms of his ground forces. This base here that once belonged to Slater Noob under control of a Shadow Rear, just trying to pump out whatever he can. We have reclaim efforts going to be started here pretty soon, just spamming out Loyalists. Needs bricks. Feel like need bricks would probably be better. And now the attack against Shadow Rear's main base is going down. The remnants of Freddy Fresh still there, but now under the control of Shadow as well. This is the main base. That's probably the main target here for Team 2, at least for L to the Aeon at least. I don't see any Colossus inbound. I don't see any sort of that, so it's just going to be with T3 units and the like. You see a lot of artillery fire coming out here from the middle from Shadow Noob, Shadow Rear. There's Slater Noob and Shadow Rear, one letter off. They have a couple of trebuchets firing off into this position. There is a Colossus who's taken a significant amount of damage. We have one Fat Boy that's been killed, another Fat Boy that's been killed by combined T2 and T3 gunship fire. The AA is definitely not strong in this game, whether in the east and in the west. But that piercing attack is coming in. Gunships need to be thrown at this. We have mass fabs going down. This is a big mass fab base over here to the east. This is going to go down here pretty soon. The Voltus have to engage. There's no recourse for it. They need to take anything out and everything out. The gunships are just going to be chewed apart by that flag. They need to take out the flag. They need to take out the ASFs that are inbound. That's not going to go very well. We have some broadswords here as well. That will help, at least for a little bit. PD needs to be built here. Team 1 PD is being spanned up as we speak. We have some ASFs coming in to assist with defense. Where are the ASFs for Team 2? Well, they are over here to the west, so they can't help and assist with this push. So those look like some gunships do survive. There's some whalers in this mix. There's a Monkey Lord on station as well. The shield tower starting to fall. They're targeting the air grid as well. Targeting those P-gens. That would be the thing to go after. Those Harbingers will get, I think, at least one P-Gen, maybe two. But, oh, they do get two with the Cascade. Monkey does take a little bit of that volatile explosion fire, but most of the air grid is saved here for Team 1. How's that nuke going? Well, there is another one loaded, and looks like there's only one SMD that I can see. It's very much surrounded with a lot of PD. But it's not going to be a teleport issue. There's another one back here. This one's almost loaded. We have a satellite online here for Team 2 System Shock. We have his own SMD. That one is not loaded as we speak. We have another attack by these Harbingers, and there's a lot of mass on this map from all the dead units. We're at 470,000, almost 80,000 mass, and that number is actually going up as we speak, which is, well, mostly up. That is a lot of mass. We started out with 47,000, so more than 10 times the amount. Where is this nuke going? Going into the west, going for this base once again. Man, Squealer is just suffering this game, being bombarded by nuclear missiles. We have a group of broadswords coming in. Does look like there's going to be another attack here on this western side. There's a Rascom running around over there. Oh, if the ASFs fell a little bit to the west, that'd be a huge win for Team 1's air. That is a lot of air forces. They do move out of the way. The satellite is moving over the top. It's been built by Team 2. At least it's, nope, this looks like it's a separate satellite. And there it goes. Kaboom! Takes out more infrastructure for Squealer. Cannot seem to get himself established. But another attack coming out for some Perseus. But it's not really going to do a whole lot. Just 5 or 6 Perseus really isn't going to do anything. It's going to distract Team 1 for sure, but there's so much defenses online. There's so many more units on this eastern side. There's now that horde of Serenities here, taking out anything and everything they can. And I think that Monkey Lord might have a, yep, it's going straight across their bow, so that's going to be a nice target. Haven't you done enough already, says Squealer? Yeah, that's going to hurt. But it does look like there is some sort of... Oh, it's a salvation. It's online by Team 2. That is huge for Team 2. Does look like there's counter artillery, though, coming from that Duke we saw earlier. And it is going to suffer because those salvations are known to take out shields. That's just kind of what they're designed to do. Their, their actual damage to ground in terms of, like, actual structures isn't great. But more shields, essentially, to fight off a salvation. And it's going to kill off a lot of that build power. A lot of those drones get taken out. I think this Duke is not long for this world. The shields are down. The second one was being built. But some of the air grid was taken out there, a decent amount of it, so that will definitely slow down Team 2's air, but they're producing satellites. They have a salvation. They have a couple more satellites. It is not going well here for Team 1 in this game. Team 2 just sat back and relaxed for a little bit. They did a nice attack. And then now they're punishing them with some artillery fire. Or laser fire, depending on who you are and what you have access to. We have another nuke about to finish. It's killed off 151,000 mass in this game. That air grid is kaput for Team 1's Shadow Rear. The ASFs are slowly dwindling for them. And in terms of Team 2's ASFs, still sitting pretty at 500 ASFs. So many ASFs in this game. The power of air in this game is cannot be understated. A couple of combat presets will be taken out by some of those bricks and some of those bombers. Definitely gets killed off there. But again, Salvation with a Tsar online, almost 4 satellites with more additional shielding. Love to see that. Love to see there's some shields and then more shields, and then probably we'll build maybe another layer of shields. We have another satellite coming on. More satellites being built by Team 2, so we have multiple players building satellites. Man, past couple games, everybody's been building satellites, and now it's going after the air grid in the north. The nuke does launch because it was just about to be destroyed here with these P-gens. Oh, one more. That's going to go. It's still online, and still not dead. Wow, it's still not dead, surprisingly. That is very, very close to being dead. Where is it going to land? Where'd it go? Oh, it's going over here. Just to kill something, I guess. And I don't know what it's going after because there's nothing really over here. I think that SMD was loaded. Yeah, it was loaded, so it wouldn't even matter. And there's nothing really over here. Going to take out absolutely nothing. Excuse me, it takes out 1 T3 mechs and a couple of roaming engineers. Though essentially nothing. But the nuke is gone here for Team 1, and I think we know what direction this is going. I'm going to speed it up to 2 like normal. It's just, I mean, Team 1 was winning for a long time, but Team 2 decided to take the early loss and just focus on ecoing up, focus on building defenses up, building up those game enders and that sort of thing. Well, it's not, Salvation isn't considered a game ender, it's just artillery. It is experimental, technically. I wouldn't consider it a game ender, though. The game ender for the Aeon, of course, is the Para, which I haven't seen anybody build any sort of that kind of thing, but we have 4 satellites here for System Shock. We have 3 satellites here for L to the Aeon, so lots of satellites. RGB had at the Salvation as well, and there's just really nothing left. The only base that's really put together is PDM, and he took a hit with those artillery earlier, and the shield is still holding strong. 1 satellite isn't really enough to take out a Seraphim shield. You need like 2 at the minimum, if not 3. We have defense satellites for their namesake trying to take out these units that are inbound. There's a monkey running around down there. We have a bunch of E1 bombers just running around. There is no lakes in this map. There's no ponds. There's no water. There's no hiding in this map. Everyone will be able to see everyone without the help of underwater tactics. That Tsar was finished off. It's going to focus on that monkey. That monkey's going to die instantly once the laser comes in contact with it. And it's gone. And then all those units are going to be taken out as well. The ASFs immediately come in, but the crash damage kills most of those bricks anyways. So even in death, I still serve, says that Tsar. But that is a lot of firepower coming off of Team 2. Team 1, what did I do anyway? Pretty much nothing. That's what Squealer's so upset. You defended like a Chad. He did defend like a Chad. Squealer did a very good job. Even with the constant nukage, he still did a great job on that western side. Man, that was... oof, that's got to hurt. L to the Aeon, of course, is just running around with his ASFs. We have the Salvation going after the rest of the air grid. Doesn't want Team 1 to have any sort of ASFs. Approaching the 50-minute mark in this game. Game ends in about a couple of minutes. Not too much longer. Obviously, we kind of knew once the Salvation was online, once the satellites were really online. Now they're focusing the comm. There goes the comm of NY to satellites by L to the Aeon, and now it's a 4v2 in favor of Team 2. The ballsy move by Team 1, Slater, was killing off that Colossus. I mean, he would have ripped through his base anyways, but he killed it off before he died, so props to him for sticking it through. Another nuke was built, and it was about a third of the way loaded, but does look like some Rascoms were spotted, so that's not going to feel good for those Rascoms. We might have a cascade effect going on here pretty soon. Oh, there goes that nuke. Oh, it's just pummeling these humans that are just standing in these smaller ACU units. ACU units, all armored command units, these ACUs. It's like the ACU units. It's kind of like the SAT test. If you've ever heard of the ACT test in the U.S., it's like standardized academic test, I think is what it stands for. But it says test in the name of SAT, but we still say SAT test. It's so weird. At least that's where I said it in the West. But that is it for Team 1. They have 1 player left, and all the satellites are converging. And those satellites are going to rip through those shields very quickly. Obviously, with the assistance of the Salvation, those shields are not going to last. Even if they were Seraphim, they would not last very long. There's Prugler. He's being assailed by those satellites, and he's going to run away. But unfortunately, my friend, you're going to run away. And whoa, what happened? What satellites came crashing out of the sky? What was that about? Yeah, those are satellites. Yeah, those are satellites. What happened there? Prugler's going to be killed off here by the satellites here for Team 2, and there he goes. I think he was Control K'd. No, it was a kill. It was a kill by System Shock. Why? Huh. I don't know why they fell out of the sky. That's very weird. Well, I can't really see them now because, the mass is gone. But, oh, that's a Rascom. Yeah, these fell out of the sky. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, let me know down in the comments how you felt about this game. Please like the video, hit that sub button, and of course, thank you so much for watching. And in terms of MUP, the most underrated player of the game, or MVP in general, who do I give it to? Honestly, I think I gave it to Squealer. Obviously, Squealer made the comment, like, what did he do anyway? He pretty much did nothing. But Slater Noob, the highest ranking player in the game, said, no, you defended pretty well. And I think I have to agree with him. There were a bunch of piercing, like, puncturing attacks that happened. There were, attacks back and forth. But honestly, with the nukes that happened a couple of times, he still held that front line. And I think that was what Team 1 was hoping for, was that this western side would collapse and be able to come in from here and divert some of the attention coming in from the east. But it just didn't happen. And so I think Squealer gets the underrated player of the game award. Let me know if you feel the same way or not down in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.